Thanks a bunch, and cannot wait for the interaction that follows. We have also prepared a couple of questions to warm up. We'll see how that goes, and I'm here to facilitate the whole interaction throughout the session. Hi again, Ramli.
Awesome. Thank you for that intro. Really do appreciate it. You're just a quick intro. Are you asking for just a quick intro about myself, like and product?
Yeah, just to position. Yeah.
For sure. Yeah, my name is Ramli John. I'm the managing director of ProductLed. I work with Wes Bush. He's the CEO of ProductLed. Wrote the book. He wrote the book called Product-Led Growth. Essentially, the whole thing about that. And what we do is we help companies transition from a very sales-led approach where they're very sales heavy to a more product-led approach in terms of the go-to-market. We have training programs. We have some coaching programs as well. And we've worked with companies like Mixpanel, OutSystems, which just went public, and Predictive Index, and a bunch of other companies that are making that transition to being product led. And we have one of the largest communities around product led growth on Slack, as well as a newsletter and content engine that we have that really, our passion and really our desire is to help more companies take the concepts that is all about product led growth and applying it to their business. So yeah, that's just a little bit about what we do here at Product Led.
Thanks. We got to share a few words about you and a few references, but I will drop an eye to the conversation that follows and try to cherry pick some more to give them to the founders in the Slack workspace as well that Spotlight have. So I'm happy to share the platform of Slack that's ever growing. Now we can quickly jump to the Q&A part of the session. Just putting this at hand in case I need them, and actually bringing in the challenges that the founders have. But when you're saying that companies are trying to transition from being sales-led to product-led, what makes them, or what phase they are actually in? What kinds of problems, or what pushes them to actually do this transition? And from here on, we'll move on to the founders. Right. Just a curiosity.
Yeah, there's several reasons why. One of them is around how expensive it is to have a sales organization. I think the cost to acquire customers, especially if you have a very, getting a SDR and then an account executive, when even if the numbers make sense, maybe the product you're selling is very, very expensive. At some point, as competition comes in, it really does put you into a bind and a squeeze where now your customer acquisition cost is increasing. At the same time, the willingness to pay off a lot of customers at this point, especially as competition goes down. And there's a better way, and this is what a lot of companies end up doing. Like a great example is HubSpot, where HubSpot early on was this CRM and they're leading the space there, and now there's a bunch of CRMs everywhere, and they realize, hey, if we continue on the sales-led path, we're gonna get more of this startups, more of the CRM companies that are coming back, eating and nibbling at our ankles and our knees. And they really shifted their go-to-market strategy now, where they have a freemium product, they have a free trial, and they really embrace the whole product-led strategy just because they've seen that those things that are coming up.
Got it. Part or the foundation of your experience comes as a marketer, right? And within a company now. With this new methodology that you're offering, and most companies are embracing, are leaning into, whose job is the product-led growth, right? Or what job is even called this that has to do with the product-led strategy of your solution?
Yeah, the way that we see the transition, usually there's a champion that leads. Hey, we should take a look at product led. It could be somebody from the product team. We've seen it somebody from the customer success team. And if it's a startup, it's usually the founder that would be like, hey, I don't want to have to hire a bunch of salespeople to make this our business succeed. So let's try a different approach. Let's try this approach where people can try the product before they buy it and really experience it. So once that one person, the champion, takes charge, we see them recruit people. So typically, it takes a cross-functional team to implement a product-led growth strategy, where you got the product team, you have somebody from design and somebody from engineering, really like experimenting and trying to figure out exactly that right kind of mix in terms of features, what kind of things to give away to entice leads to come in and sign up for the product and really improve the whole experience. So from the champion to the team to the small cross-functional team, eventually the whole thing is embraced by the whole organization, including if you have a sales team. So, I mean, something that we might talk about in a little bit is like, it's not a product-led growth versus sales-led growth strategy. Really, like, there is like a middle ground where sales team is involved in a product-led growth strategy. You can take a look at Slack, where in their stock file, like they're public right now. So they said that 60% of the revenue in 2019 came from salespeople. So they have this like kind of hybrid approach where sales is like a critical part of the product-led growth strategy.
Okay. And is there a framework into how to integrate actually these two sales traction frameworks?
Yeah, there is this one, and it's quite. We didn't coin it. It's called the land and expand strategy. I think that's how the sales fit into product-led growth strategy. In essence, the land and expand strategy is you have somebody come in, they land in a free product or a free trial, and they start using it, and they upgrade to a freemium or they upgrade to a paid account. And what happens next is that the sales team essentially becomes like a coach, instead of like trying to hard sell them. They're now coaching them to helping them even more with the product. And as a result of that, they expand into other more advanced feature set, more advanced plans, and they upgrade into other more advanced features. So it's typically how the sales team work now in this product-led world, where they're, instead of chasing, they're now coaching. Instead of like trying to pursue, now they're just trying to find the ones that are already finding value within the product and using that as a jumping point to start conversations and really expand out their expertise and the product in there.
Got it. Since you mentioned conversations, I would expect that you will soon jump in with some of your questions and challenges, speaking to the founders in the group. At that moment, you'll also have the chance to briefly introduce yourself and what's the solution all about, to give more context to the question. And as you mentioned, the strategy of entering the product and from there on moving upwards on your product and on your sales strategy that you have, that seems to be putting a lot of pressure, as you're predicating in your book this time, speaking on the onboarding that the users have, on how intuitive it is, how easy it is to use, how are they not going to jump off your solution as soon as they have this date with the solution, so that you do have a chance to lead them through the product? Or does this seem to me this is a very, very interesting tipping point, this first meeting with your product, and how could you mitigate that? Or because you are mentioning the fact that it should be intuitive, easy, fast, but now the benchmarks are quite high, and as we're speaking with the early stage startups that still haven't solved a lot of their challenges, anything marketplace related or social is now compared against Facebook. Anything that is a B2B fintech is compared against I don't know, not Revolut, but the likes, and how could you actually offer that for the first touch, which is super important.
100%. I think there's this quote that I love that kind of speaks to what you said, from Scott Belsky. He's like the chief product officer at Adobe, and he says that in the first 15 seconds of every new experiences, all new users are lazy, vain, and selfish. And really, I think that's what you're trying to get at, is whether you're like whether you're like you're a sales, you're a marketplace or a fintech. Really, people are looking to find answer the question to themselves, like how is this going to help me? How is it going to help me with my workflow, or my if it's a consumer product, how is it going to help me in my family setting, or my friends? Like exactly, that's what people are looking for, is trying to find the solution as quickly as possible with that.
Okay, cool. Uh, let's yeah, Piotr, let's jump to any of your questions so far. We've just unveiled a bit the topic that Ramli is so acquainted with on this product-led growth and the onboarding experience that the users, the potential clients have with solutions in general. Let's tap on this. Yeah, Hadi, and
Hey, thanks
Paul next. Yeah.
for the intro. And this is Hadi. We have a video technology for e-commerce, and I'm a big fan of product-led growth. And but like, I really wanted to ask this question from a specialist. Like, I'm so happy now I'm asking you. That we made our like sales process or this very flexible, because when it's product-led growth, we have a free version, and then there is also a usage-based business model, which is combined with this process. And also we have an agency, like a client that we have to go like a direct sale. So we kind of combining this sales, like 30%, 40% sales, and mostly focused on the product-led. But I'm a little bit afraid that this flexibility for an early stage startup like us, like it gives a little bit of, I don't know, vague kind of portrait for especially for us as a B2B business. So wanted to know, like, if you have a specific, for example, guideline that you start like from this amount, or then you can like change this flexibility over the time as soon as we have, for example, I don't know, that amount of revenue or clients, or if it was clear.
So like you're trying to figure out exactly, you have a hybrid approach, it seems, where you're sales led on the agency side and then product led on the others. Is the question around like whether you should double down on just one thing, or more so?
Yeah, I'm just afraid that if this flexibility gives a like bad impression to the business clients, that okay, we can like easily sign in for free, like while we have to pay like 600 euro for the competitor to just sign in, and now this is for free. What is happening here? Maybe this is something wrong, or it's kind of defining our brand in a wrong way.
No, it's a good point. I think it's finding that balance. Definitely the whole gist of product led is trying to de-risk that whole buying process and getting somebody to try it out for free. Hopefully they get enough value that they upgrade to the next level. And the next level could be very expensive, like to upgrade to. So like I keep bringing up HubSpot, but like HubSpot's plan right now, you try it for free. The next level is like 85, and then after that is 600 per month. So like there's a huge gap. So I think like, I mean, it goes back to just getting people to try out for free. But as long as there's finding that balance to get them to upgrade is the critical point. But to your question, like around like whether you should double down on product led or sales led, I've said this before, and I've seen it over and over again, especially in B2B, is that eventually all B2B product-led companies become hybrid. And I see this with Slack. I see this with Dropbox. Dropbox is a lot of salespeople actually, eventually, where Now they're catering to two types of customers, where there's the enterprise, which requires a little bit of sales-led approach, as well as more of the prosumer side, which is more product-led. So um, it's maybe at this point with limited resources, if you can handle those two approaches going forward, it would be the best to like maximize your revenue as well as close rate, and really like get that going with that. So
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Thank you.
no problem.
Thanks, Hadi. Then feel free to add on the topic. I assume that this is the case. I saw Paul, then Igor, but we can easily get back to any of the topics. Paul, please. Yeah.
Hi. I'm Paul, co-founder of Octavic, and our product is something like, let's say, a BI on steroids for mid and large size industrial manufacturers. And part of necessary evil, let's say, that comes with the product is a small hardware part that needs to be deployed on the customer side and set up by someone specialized. It could be someone from us, it could be a partner, or in some happy cases, let's say someone from the customer, but this is more seldom. And in this kind of context, how would you see applying product-led? So it's clear we're not there yet. It's clear to me that the software side, the platform side with analytics and planning and all that could be taken there with good workflows and instruction and so on. But the first stage, how?
Mhm.
Yeah, that's a good question around like what do you do if you have like a hardware to put up. There's a few approach to it. I mean, and especially if you're a startup, I think to your point, the sales-led approach might be the best in the beginning with this. But if you do have some resources, you can take a look at it, exploring like creating some kind of like entry point for people to try out before they have to install and get the actual physical equipment installed. And exactly, once again, I keep going back to HubSpot again. But before they went all in with going product led with their whole marketing suite, what they did was they created a small little product first called like Sidekick, which is this like tool for people to try out to like track emails and stuff for salespeople. I mean, that's the same strategy that you can deploy where like maybe you can find like a smaller software based solution at the front for people to try out that could be your lead gen essentially, instead of like getting people to download an ebook or get people to think maybe some kind of like calculator or some kind of like actual tool for people to try out, so that it's showing to people showing people who are coming to your site that there's an interest in going down further in the conversation with actually getting the equipment installed. So I mean that's what I would try to do. Would be, are there ways to get people already thinking, or get people to sign up for something, or get people to fill out some kind of, not just a quiz, but like some kind of like ROI calculator or things like that can really get people to start seeing the value before you even make the purchase.
Mhm.
Clear. Thank you.
Thanks as well, Paul. I saw Igor, then Robert. I would add something on this, started by Paul. Since you need to, so the principle is to get in front of your users, customer, with something from your product that helps them to see how the product brings value in their lives. How can you decide on that? Which part to give? How much? How little? In time and resources that you are actually offering access to. Is there any guideline in here, just to touch upon or to deep dive on the topic that Paul started? Thanks.
Yeah, that's a great question. I would say there isn't. It's something that you have to experiment with, because it really depends on the product that you have, like how much to give away for free, like how much of the product to give away for free. It comes with time, but I guess there's two camps to this. One camp, and this is what I'm hearing from OpenView, OpenView is like the VC firm that coined the term product-led growth. There, Kyle Poye there is he's one of the operating partners. He leans more on like giving away more stuff for free, and taking it away slowly. I'm on the other camp maybe where you like slowly add to the free features to see at what tipping point does it become like sticky. I think that's one thing to watch out for is you're really optimizing for people to keep coming back, for people to actually find value in the product and keep coming back over and over again. So I think that's one thing that a metric that I would look out for as I add more features available for free for users, is the stickiness of the product.
Okay, thanks. Yeah, Igor, back to you, and thanks for allowing me the caveat.
Hi, I'm Igor. We provide intellectual property protection, automatic intellectual property protection. It's nice to meet you. So I'm also from B2B, and the question is quite practical. Maybe you can set or like mention the tricks to get the decision makers in big companies. Yeah, some from your practice, from your working.
Okay, yeah. So some tricks to get the decision maker. I mean, there's the way that I approach this is the warmer that you are to the decision maker in terms of the outreach, the better the response rate will be. So to make it warm, there's a few ways to do that. I think one way is to get an introduction from somebody. But if you're using your product as a tool to actually warm up those audience, that's a great way to identify who is actually using the product and identifying great moments. Like I call it success moments within the product. And when you've achieved something successful, one of the warmest things you can do to a friend is congratulate them. As like, congrats, Igor, like you've accomplished X in lawyer, right? Things like that. I think those are great moments to warm up a conversation to the lead or to the decision maker, and really start a conversation going with that. Is when you've identified specifically like success moments in your product, and somebody's gotten there, and just a simple email like, congrats for achieving this, Ramli. It can really go a long way. And based on what I've seen in terms of response rates, people respond much better to congratulations than to, hey, do you want to jump on a demo right at the get-go? So I think that's another way to warm them up, other than an intro, would be like to congratulate them for achieving something within your product. So and from there, like I think it's just building up momentum, especially if it's end users you're targeting, would be to build up momentum and get them to introduce you to the decision maker if the person who signed up for your product is not the decision maker itself.
Okay, great. Also, I have one small question. We like in our feedback have some problems with resistance from lawyers in the company. So they feel something like useless when company use our solution, and that's why they like resist on implementing the solution into the company culture. What do you think? How we can like go through it or handle?
Yeah, I would try to understand. I guess I would try to understand exactly where the resistance is coming from. Are they not seeing the value of the product, or maybe it's a communication issue where like it's not very clear to them what the pain that the product is solving?
It's more about the sphere of work. We like optimize the work and get part of their work into solution. So maybe they do not create so much billing and do not make so much value that they.
Do you say billing? Is that they don't create so much billing?
Yeah, billing
So, yeah.
in lawyers sphere, it's when you pay for hours. So
Oh, okay. So I mean, if that's the case, I think he's just finding out the right type of law firm would be the one that has a lot of identifying your ideal customer profile, like the ones, how do you find people who have enough, who send enough billing that they would find a lawyer very valuable and useful. So I think it's just that, is it a specific size of a law firm with X number of lawyers? It's something that you'd have to experiment with to find out, like, maybe you have the right messaging. So like there's three parts to it. It's the who, the what, and the how. Like who, like, are you, is it finding the right type of law firm? The how, is the messaging very clear to them, the problem, the statement, and the solution? And then the what is like, now that's where the solution can really come in. You have to have all three of those mixed to really like resonate with people in terms of the outreach.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks as well, Igor. Feel free to jump in at any point. I saw Robert from Bidrento, then Irina, and let's keep the ball rolling. Cool, Robert.
Yes, thank you. So I'm Robert from Bidrento. We provide rental property software. So again, a B2B SaaS provider. And my question is in regards to onboarding larger customers. Say they already find the product valuable. Say they are interested in applying it, and they are a larger customer, say with an MRR of like close to 5 figures or high 4 figures, right? For early stage startup, like maybe your first or your third big customer, right? And you get into this cycle of feature requests, and you want to get to the signed contract as quickly as possible, right? How would you handle how would you handle onboarding a customer like that and get them to sign to kind of a deal, whether it's an enterprise package or whether it's a kind of a well-positioned solution offer? How would you do that and not get stuck in forever, like developing each week you have a meeting, hey, we need this product roadmap, and small team, limited features, everybody's focusing on that one big shot sometimes, or 3 big shots, whatever it may be. And how do you cross the line with those deals a little bit faster in terms of onboarding those customers? Thank you.
Right. Oh man, that's like the classic problem with product, especially as you're closing bigger enterprise customers. Yeah, I guess I would ask the question, is it, I mean, there's got to be a point where like it's just too much and then they just need to sign it. I think that's finding that balance as to, I guess, finding the root of their request of the feature. Are they comparing the product to your product to another product that doesn't have that feature? Are they like, is it another problem that they're finding that they require that particular problem? I don't have an easy answer to this question, just because of it is a very hard problem. It's something that you need to weigh the costs too, as to like, is it worth building this out to close this deal, and how committed are they already to the deal? Like I would keep that in mind as well. Like, do they have skin in the game already? A little bit, because like the danger is, and I'm sure your question you're asking yourself this is, you build out these features and they end up leaving anyway. So now you have all these features that you built for this enterprise customer that doesn't end up closing. So like that's I guess that's something in the back of your mind. If you have like some kind of letter of intent in mind that you already have to start building this out. Like if you maybe another option is to get them to create a lower plan for them, to get them to start paying for a reduced size of the product, instead of like waiting to pay until it's all built out. Could be another approach, and it does require really negotiation skills to have that conversation. So hopefully that helps, because this is a hard problem. It's a problem that folks really do have, especially as they're targeting enterprise.
So you're suggesting lowering the barriers on what type of product actually they could use now that doesn't need so much of a new development work to actually onboard them into that, and then
that, and as well as like getting them to start having skin in the game earlier on, so that you're not left hanging at the end of the day. Like, you built out all these features, and then they ended up like not becoming a customer. Which now you're like, now what do you do there? You have all these features that you built up for enterprise that was requested, but they don't want it anymore.
Yeah. It's just a couple small feedback to your answer. I think we're very fortunate that the things we will build in a situation like this will be relevant to others as well. And I thought that question may be valuable across the board for others as well. I love the skin in the game. Of course, there's a famous book, Skin in the Game, out there. So that will get my juices flowing, and I'll see where we can go with that. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for bringing in a big chunk of a problem. Feel free to do that. You're in a safe space with all the other founders that seem to be having similar problems as you have. And now it's the time to actually address them. First off, put them on the board so that you see that you're not alone in this game. And yeah, after all, trying to address them as much as we can. Thanks, Ramli, for taking the time for this. I saw Irina, and jump on with any other questions or add-ons to what we've discussed already. Irina?
Hello, everybody. I'm Irina. I am the CEO and co-founder of Vont. Vont is a SaaS solution for real estate developers and real estate agencies that helps them.
No, sorry to cut off your
Sure.
intro. Ramli disconnected a bit. I think it's
okay.
useful to yeah.
Okay, should I start again?
Yeah. I think that.
Sorry, thank you.
All right.
No
okay.
worries.
So hello again, I'm Irina. I am the CEO and co-founder of Vont. Vont is a SaaS solution for real estate developers and real estate agencies that helps them streamline and manage selling residential projects. Congratulations for the work you do at the ProductLed. My question for you is that when you have a solution like ours, which is a SaaS solution available on cloud and mobile, when you try to convert a potential client from the demo that you provide them, do you focus on a sole platform or do you try to bring them in on the mobile? And I'm asking that because for us, the mobile app has some very strong selling features, but I don't want them to believe that we're only on mobile.
That's a really good question. Do you find that where do people start off? Do they start off with the mobile first or the platform first?
They start off based on our marketing strategy. Right now, they start up with the web part.
Okay, that might make sense. I'm also thinking about like the context that people would sign up, like real estate agents or the agencies would sign up for this. Would they'd probably be at their office on their computer and they're looking out for stuff? Is that a fair assumption?
Yes, and they could also be on their phones. So
okay.
It's one of them.
I mean, the way that I'm seeing this, especially, it makes sense to start it off in the platform, and as you're setting it up, would be to introduce them to the mobile app, the app itself. An example I can think of is when I sign up for Wave apps. It's like this financial software for entrepreneurs. It makes it easy for me to send invoices. So I signed up for it, and as I sent my first invoice, they're like, "Oh, by the way, you could have sent this invoice via a mobile app. Do you want to check that out? It'll save you time. You can do it on the go. Just give us your phone number, and we'll send you a link to download the mobile app." So I think just into figuring out exactly where in the journey within the platform, in the web app, to introduce the mobile app would be super, super helpful. And then getting them going and really describing like, here's why the mobile app is useful to you in your world. Whether it's saving you time, it's whether you're on the go. Real estate agents, we know you're on the go. You don't always have your computer with you. This is the reason why you should get this mobile app. you can download it now easily for free on App Store, or Google Play Store, or wherever, and just give us your phone number and we'll get it. We'll send you a link or something like that. So I think that's a good flow. You also want to think about the other way around, where somebody signs up from the mobile app back to the platform. So I think that's introducing the platform if somebody signs up within the mobile app. But my hunch, and this is a hypothesis, is that most people would come from the platform first and then move to the mobile app. And I could be completely wrong. And it could be something that you need to optimize the other way around, where people sign up for a mobile app. How do you get users? How do you remind users that this is not just an app? It's actually a full platform that you can access through your website.
Okay, that's really good. Thank you.
So this is to actually consider in the whole approach that you have on acquisition, even if they're seeing you on their mobile devices, but they are the plan is for them to use some sort of a platform, whatever cloud service on their desktops. That means that you give them the experience on the mobile, or you onboard them as customers, clients, users, freemium, into whatever platform that is, from where you do the marketing acquisition. Yeah, the user acquisition.
Yeah, would be an idea, but I think as from the feedback, I would build 2 customer journeys showing that you're mobile. You also have the cloud solution, but also the mobile solution, and you can switch from it every time, saving you time, making you powerful, efficient, and mobile. So we're thinking about that. Okay, thank you so much.
Thanks for putting this on board, Irina. I'm seeing Daniel. Feel free to jump in the conversation on the topics at hand or on others. Thanks.
Thank you. We've also so we're doing part of our product is a web platform. It's a SaaS for therapists, psychotherapists, and we've also been thinking of making the product speak for himself, and having the product leading the growth. One of the things that we've implemented is the walkthrough on the platform. So when they create their account, they go into the first the best possible journey, adding a client and so on. But what we've seen is at first we made it unskippable. So they could not escape before they did what we wanted to show them. But a lot of the customers were blocked, so a lot of them got stuck and not completing the tutorial. That is why we implemented an X button. But after we did this, a lot of them clicked the X and didn't go through the walkthrough and learned all the things that we wanted them to do. What would you think would be the best in here, or what are some good practices in this area?
Could you also, Daniel, get closer to where the mic is, or we're having problems hearing you, as I could tell. Thanks.
Sorry. Do I need to repeat anything, or
hopefully not?
I got some of it. So I just want to clarify. You have a tutorial within the product, and people are not completing it. Is what you found?
Yeah.
Do you know where they're getting stuck at? Like at what step they're getting lost? Could be interesting to see where they are. That I guess that if I had to figure that out, I would figure out exactly where they're getting lost in terms of their journey. So you have it mapped out to here's where we want them. Here's what we want them to do in the product. That would be the first win, the aha moment, or the success state, whatever you want to call it. This is your destination, and I would just work myself backwards to figure out where most of our users getting stuck at. Are they not completing this step before that, or this next step? And once you've identified where they're getting stuck at, would be to try to identify, are they getting stuck because they're getting lost? Is there a way to make it more obvious to users that this is the next step to get them to that success state, that quick win within the product, and really driving them there, whether that's with a product tour or some other technique that can really help out with getting them there. So whether you can find that in analytics, or I would suggest installing something like Hotjar or some kind of like a way to view your users signing up to see are they clicking in the wrong button or are they like totally getting lost within your product as well, and see if they need help. I think that's the other thing that you can try as well is make it easy for them. I'm not sure if you already have like some kind of like easy way for them to ask for help, whether that's like a chat box within the product where they can ask. Do you already have that available?
We have it, but yeah, at the beginning where it's not available to them when they do it. So they should be focused on that. But yeah, that's a good idea to enable them to ask for help fast.
Yeah. Hopefully, is that helpful? Like just trying to identify where they're getting stuck in that journey and getting that success within the product.
Yeah, thank you.
As onboarding is so crucial, why is this overlooked, or against what other things that early stage startups and founders actually do this from your experience, Ramli? Just jumping in with the curiosity, and then we're going back to questions. I'm seeing you, Alex.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the reason why onboarding's not focused on a lot, and it makes sense, especially if you're early, you're trying to build a product, right? So I think there's two sides that is often that onboarding is stuck between. There's the one side is building out the product roadmap and making sure that you're building a product that the market wants, and the other side is trying to get as many users as possible to sign up for your product. And I think you also want to be mindful of guiding people to within your product and getting them to see it as well. So I think that's what often happens, and it's ignored because that's, you got the sales and marketing trying to acquire users, and they got the product trying to build out the product roadmap and building out the product. So
that could actually land you your startup get the death penalty. So it's quite tricky to choose between onboarding and building a product that will end up not being used. Alex, back to you. Thanks for allowing me the caveat.
Don't worry. So hi, and sorry for being late. I dropped in a bit later. So we are building a consumer product, and we thought that we should start with a mobile web product. We actually want to migrate to a mobile app, but then we thought that acquisition is much more difficult to a mobile app, and then it would be like the acquisition cost, and then it would be much more expensive to build a decent mobile app. So then we started building a mobile web one. What do you see as being the difference in acquisition from mobile web and mobile app? Because there was the term back in the day that mobile app, there is mobile app fatigue, right? That people don't install apps as easily as they click on links and try new things. So this is what got us into deciding this. But I'm not sure now that this was the best call. So maybe you can share a thought.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good question around. I mean, there's two parts to it. You're asking about acquisition or whether mobile web or mobile app is best for your product.
Yeah.
I guess I would ask particularly how users are going to be using your tool. Are they on the go? And even if they're on the go, I think it's smart to start off with mobile web, especially that you can make tweaks really quick. Versus like in the app store, you might have to wait to push changes into it, and it's just a great early part to I guess figure out exactly what people want with that. But mind you, like if it is a very mobile app, like your competitors are on mobile app, then and it's something that users are particularly, it's a de facto thing that they want. It's like they need to install it. Then maybe mobile app would be a clearer approach with that. So my guess would be start off mobile web and figure out exactly what features they want. And you're right. I think the hunch around like mobile app fatigue and it's easier to click around to try it out before you download a mobile app. It makes it a lot easier for people to try it out, and go from there. I mean, in terms of acquisition, you can now play around with many different things, like, you know, with SEO and paid ads and all that stuff that you can't necessarily do with mobile app, where, you know, you have app store optimization, which is often not very you know, as mature as the SEO world, and as well as different things like that. So I think I think you're on the right track with what you were mentioning earlier.
Okay, I have a second question, if that's allowed.
Yeah, feel free to jump in.
Thank you so much. So our challenge is that, you know, we build this mobile web MVP, and now what we see is that, and we actually talk to some people that try the product, and what we see is naturally they don't understand what does the product intend to offer as a value proposition. So the question is, what is the best way that you've seen where you can somehow talk to the users having a session with the product, and then try to figure out what is their perception on what the product does, right?
Yeah.
What does the product do?
Yeah, there's this tactic that I actually learned from Andrew Kaplan. He used to lead growth at Wistia, as well as Postscript. He worked at HubSpot before as well. And I think as new users coming in, especially early on, what the one thing we want to try to learn is why exactly did somebody sign up for that product? And something like what he deploys is just a simple in-app survey asking the question, what are you trying to achieve with X today? What is your goal today with our product? And just, you know, you might not get a lot of responses, especially with response rate being low, but the people who do respond are giving you insight exactly as to what they're trying to achieve, and trying to figure out exactly why they're signing up for that. So that's the one thing you can try, will be some kind of in-app survey, as well as if you do have the email, will be just to maybe do some outreach, and whether that's like a survey, an email survey, or other things like that, to really try to understand where they're getting stuck and why, and how you can help them with that particularly.
Okay, that makes sense. Thank you so much. One follow-up question: the survey would be free text, right? So you simply type in.
Right,
it's
yeah.
not like yeah. Okay.
Oh yeah, or you can make it. Yeah, it would be a free text, I think, early on.
Okay. That makes sense. Thanks again. Thank you so much.
Thanks, and keep the questions coming in. I see Marcus from Werk, then Maria from Microtica. Feel free to get back to any of the previous topics if the aha just popped in your minds right now. Marcus, feel free to jump in.
Yeah, hello. I hope it's not too noisy in the background. I'm in a hotel lobby.
Actually, not at all. I mean.
And we are building a social network platform for construction jobs. And the easiest is to think of it as a blue-collar LinkedIn, basically. Now, one of the big frictions we have is that the more data we have on our customers, basically like their portfolio, their job experiences, anything, the easier it is for us to build AI for like matching them with the subcontractors. But the problem is that the construction workers are really untrustworthy people. In that sense, it's really hard to get a lot of information out of them. So do you have any tips or tricks on maybe how to gamify the onboarding journey for construction sector people?
Interesting. And what I'm hearing is that they have to fill out a lot of fields or information to.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
I mean, there's. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, and I just maybe as for a more context, the first initial onboarding may consist of like 5 steps for us currently. We ask for the main stuff, date of birth, maybe what languages do you speak, and stuff like this, only like 5. And then afterwards, you have like tons of stuff to fill in, like pictures of previous works and whatnot.
Interesting. And you said it's also could be a trust issue where they don't want to share that information as well. Is that what
Yeah,
it is?
yeah, and or maybe it's like hard to communicate how each of the different aspects of like how do you describe your bio or the pictures of jobs you upload, how do they directly help you get the better job?
Right.
So
I mean,
so yeah, go ahead.
yeah, I mean, I think there's a few ways that you can employ some kind of psychological like tactics to it. You already talked about 5 steps, so you can, one of the principles that you can take charge is the principle of commitment and consistency, where it's in there's just an example with Shopify. When you sign up for Shopify, the first when you sign up, the first page, there's only 3 fields you need to fill out. Second page is 5 fields, and then the third page is like 14. So what they're trying to get you to do is, the first page is super simple. Once you fill that in, you go to the second page, it's only 5, but you're starting to commit and starting to say yes a little bit. So the more simple you have it earlier on and increase the complexity and the number of fields you ask as each page progress, would be super helpful. Because like in the psychology behind it is like, oh, I've already filled 5 fields already, here's another few more fields and we're almost there. Could be another tactic, one tactic that you can use to break it down, to make it simple and organize it from easiest and the lowest number of fields to the most number of fields for each page and sign up. I think the other thing is around, maybe there are some things that is optional, or you can push down later in terms of fields that you can ask further down much later, instead of like getting that right from the beginning. And are there ways to also increase motivation early on, like to like, here's why this is important, and here's what's in it for you if you complete this. Could be another way just to really describe from the beginning the value, and being upfront, like this will take 10 minutes or this will take X number of minutes, but if you spend 10 minutes, you're gonna get all of this other benefits, X, Y, and Z. And when you fill this out, you'll whatever those benefits are can be super helpful. And one last thing that if you don't already have like a progress bar, is super helpful. I think you probably already have one. A lot of fields that I fill out, a lot of forms that I have to fill out, has that progress bar. It's like as you complete more fields, it slowly fills up. That's a really great like tactic to get more people to complete like a bunch of forms or a bunch of fields that you need to complete.
Yeah, we made a progress bar in the last hackathon. I really love the idea of putting the questions in a like difficulty order. That was a good one. Okay, thank you for the feedback.
Thanks as well, Marcos, for jumping in. Speaking about progress, we will soon be left with around 20 minutes of conversation with Ramli, so time does fly. Let's hear out as much intervention from your side in the next 15-20 minutes or so. I am seeing Maria. At some point, I saw you, Piotr, but I'm not sure if you raised the, yeah? Could we then move to you after Maria? Yeah, cool. Thanks, mate. Jump in.
Okay, should I connect?
Hey. Yeah, sure.
Hi. Hey. Hi guys, so I'm Maria from Microtica. Our product is actually a cloud platform where developers can create infrastructure and deploy applications on their chosen cloud providers. Our idea is basically to become like a self-service platform, so where developers come and can use the product right away. But our current process of selling is kind of the old way. So we do the demo, we do a POC, and then we go through this process before someone decides to buy. My question is, so when thinking about the product-led strategy, do you think it's better to kind of choose one thing of your platform and kind of focus on that, and basically show developers how to do that fast and easy and quickly? because our platform is end-to-end. So it basically covers a lot of things, from creating infrastructure to deployments on Kubernetes, configurations, pipelines, and so on. So the whole kind of DevOps process. Do you think it's better to focus on one thing, or a focus on kind of showing a demo of all the capabilities that your platform can do? And how do you choose between those, and how do you choose, if you focus on one thing, how do you choose on what to focus, basically?
Yeah, great question. If push comes to shove, I always double down on focusing and really like focusing on one thing, as you're suggesting, because the danger that you have with pointing out everything is that it could be overwhelming, and for the developer it could be like or your target audience, it could be like, oh my goodness, all this stuff is just too much. Yeah, especially for onboarding new users. What I would suggest would be, find that one thing, and you ask which one should you focus on. I mean, that's something that you need to take a look at. Like, one of the things you want to take a look at is which one is the easiest to get going and set up, to start. What is the quickest win for this target audience? Like, which one will get them to see the value the quickest, and get them signed up to it, get them quote unquote onboarded to it quicker, so that once they've achieved that quick win within that first few moments, first few minutes, then you can start leading them to the next thing, whether that's next particular feature, and like guide them down that use case after that. The other option is to segment them closer out to the front. So as somebody is signing up, and this goes back to the tool that I mentioned earlier called Wave, which is this financial tool. So as you sign up for Wave, they ask you, like, after I sign up with my email, they ask me, Ramli, what are you trying to achieve with Wave today? Then they gave me 3 options. Are you trying to send an invoice? Are you trying to run your payroll? Are you trying to make payments? And based on those 3 options, they provided me now a very clear tour or path, or even emails that guide me towards a specific use case within the product. So that could be another tactic that you employ. Could be just asking users, like, out of these 3 options, out of these 3 use cases, which one resonates with you the most? And then you're gonna start getting data that like one or 2 of them are like the top option, and like really doubling down on that, and making that experience really great for that one use case, and then leading them down other options could be really great. So that's how I would approach this, and going back to what you mentioned, really like find that focus, and whatever feature that ends up being.
Okay, thank you.
This seems to be have a lot to do with what you're describing in your book. So a quick caveat about the Eureka framework of this onboarding process. Could you highlight in brief that, and then go back to the question, just for it to stick with all of us here now, as it's the right moment. I hope so.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, in that book, I do talk about like this 6-step framework that we use to improve onboarding. One of them is like involving identifying your team and figuring out exactly like a cross-functional team to improve your onboarding. We've talked a little bit about like finding what success is for users, and really like, if you don't understand what success is for users, then you don't know where it's leading to. Then and then simplifying that whole process. And getting them there as quickly as possible is what that process is about, and making it super easy for users. So that's, I can go deep into that 6-step framework, but I do go deeper into it in the book a little bit. But in essence, it's building a cross-functional team, finding what success is for users, and guiding them there as quickly as possible is what that process is all about.
Thanks. Piotr, getting back to you. Thanks for allowing me the caveat.
Thanks a lot. Rami, I was hesitating of asking this question because there's I don't feel that there's something concrete it, but let me explain our situation. In Render, we are creating this cloud solution for creatives, and we got a lot of freelancers coming and SMEs, small enterprises coming to our solution. We didn't do any kind of outbound before. Most of all of our customers are coming to us from inbound. But what we see is that it affects our user mix, right? The most of our users are freelancers, and we know that studios have the same problems as freelancers do, but we can't sell to them yet, right? We were focusing on the product. We have iterated a lot of it. We have our onboarding on the very beginning was super complicated. Now it's super easy after like many months of iterating on it. We started with this different business model, and the one which we have right now, which is a subscription basis, is really more interesting for this kind of customers. But what is my biggest problem right now is how to attract medium enterprises or big enterprises into our solution. And the question is, if product-led growth philosophy or product-led growth direction have any kind of answers of how to attract the bigger enterprises or B2B customers.
Can you describe exactly who that target customer is? So small, medium businesses. What kind of businesses?
Yeah, sure. So those are the people, the guys we have right now on our platform are small studios in film, graphic design, and animation. So guys working up to like 10 workstations per studio. And what we know and what we see is that on the market there are many bigger kind of entities that basically face the same problems. So, but we even have been approached by Discovery Channel, by HBS TV. We had some conversations with Netflix, but of course it's all not closed, and I don't know how to close that yet. And we're still too small, I believe, for them. But we don't have any proper sales cycle, any proper sales strategy. Yeah, I'm a little lost here.
Interesting. Within those small and medium agents studios, is there particularly one person you're finding signing up? Like, is it the managing director, or is it the designer?
In those small studios, it's a little easier because most of the times the owner of the studio is or was at some particular time a creative himself. So those guys who are on our platform and those who bought our solution for their studios are using it personally. And as you probably can imagine, with bigger entities, the decision makers, owners, are not the creators. So
interesting. Yeah, I mean, it seems like is it more so closing? So like, I guess it's trying to decide who your target audience is. There's usually two sides. So you're targeting the end users, the creatives who are creating, and your whole site is focused on end users.
Yeah.
On the user. And now you're asking around, like, how do you target the decision maker in larger companies?
Yeah. So look at this way. Adobe Creative Cloud is a solution which is used by creatives themselves, right? But they can sell to bigger enterprises, and I don't know how to do that.
All right. Yeah. I mean, are you finding a lot of creatives are signing up pretty good, even in larger companies for Rendero?
Not from the company's emails, so we don't know if.
We don't know. Okay.
Yeah.
If you're seeing a lot of, I mean, typically in the product-led sales motion, how you would sell, like something like Adobe right now, Adobe has like free trial where it's the end user, the creatives are the ones signing up. It goes back to that land and expand strategy is how you would get the decision maker. It would be like the creatives use it, enough creatives within like a company, like maybe How to Web or some other company, they sign up. And that's when like you would deploy like a sales team to reach out and try to get the introduction to the decision maker within that company. But if the challenge is now, the challenge what I'm hearing is more so trying to get more users to sign up for your product. Is that what I'm hearing?
Actually, this is going on, right? We are experiencing like 40% of growth of compound monthly growth rate in terms of customer acquisition. So this, we are doing something correctly on this side, right? But what is my problem is how to make this bridge between freelancers and small enterprises, and how to tackle those guys. So that's why I was hesitant of asking this question, because as you can see, yeah, it's a complex problem.
Yeah, I would try to find those create like your so it's mainly freelancers who are signing up, mainly smaller creatives. It is more so like trying to figure out a way to attract those creatives within those medium to enterprise companies to sign up. So like that could be through ads, or through some SEO, or through content. I'm on your site. It looks like you're #1 on ProductLed recently. So I think as more people sign up and creatives are using it, the land and expand strategy is the approach, that the product-led approach. It might be worth it doing some sales-led approach as well. So like I'm not against sales-led here, especially early on. Would be like trying to find them on LinkedIn and seeing who not just like your ideal company profile, but who is your ideal user profile. Like who is the ideal person who is going to be using it? Is it a senior designer? Is it a growth designer? Is it somebody who is maybe beginning in the creative work, and then trying to really find them on LinkedIn and doing some kind of outreach or reaching out to have discussions around like what are their current needs in terms of their cloud desktop with that.
Okay, that makes sense. Thanks for that, Rami.
Thanks for putting your problem on board. I saw Virgil, then Hadi came back with a question. Virgil, could you take the lead?
Yeah, I hope there's still time.
Yeah, so there's 15 minutes or so left. Just a quick interview at the end with Ramli. So we'll keep that as short as possible, leaving you enough time for questions. Go ahead.
Hi, Ramli. Nice to meet you. I'm Virgil. I work on product and UX at client Zen. A bit of context. Generally, medium to big creative tech agencies use surveys and quarterly meets that are frustrating for both company and client. And if the feedback is negative, it's generally too late. We want to eliminate the survey paradigm with our product line Zen, which is a platform that analyzes communication between creative agencies and their clients, analyzing email, chat, video calls with AI technology based on sentiment analysis. Based on this analysis, we generate real-time happiness scores and actionable insights that can help agencies address client problems before they happen. At the moment, we're not sure about the market fit. Theoretically, the solution can go anywhere in B2B area and even B2C, wherever there's communication going back and forth. I hope this is not too broad of a question, but what strategies for product market fit would you try here? And would the product-led approach fit this product?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I'm on your site. It looks like you have a free trial already. So that's one step. I think getting people to try it out first, and I'm trying to figure out exactly what that first success date is, because the challenge I'm imagining when somebody signs up for this is they need to connect their email, they need to connect their all their different tools to get that sentiment analysis going. It requires a ton of data. One approach could be something like amplitude, because you have a data problem when somebody signs up for the first time. There's no data, right? In Client Zen. So what Amplitude does, if you check it out, is amplitude.com. they have the same problem. When somebody signs up, they're not going to have data because you need to connect all your analytics tool. They've created like something called like a sandbox experience, where when somebody, you can watch a demo and you select, are you SaaS, are you e-commerce? And then they'll show you amplitude with data pre-populated already, particular to your industry or your segment, so that you can start seeing the aha moments with somebody else's data, essentially, and seeing the product in action without having to completely put in all your information beforehand. So I think that's one approach that I would see, like when people are signing up, would be to show what the whole client Zen would look like if they had data in it. In terms of finding market fit, would be like really doubling down on who, like, is it agencies, like what size of agency, is it like bigger agencies, is it creative agency, is it video agency? Like, I think that's where I would figure out like the right kind of niche to focus on first, and doubling down on that, and then finding adjacent ones early on. I see you already have some testimonials here, so I think that could be some. Oh, are those testimonials? Do you have testimonials on your site? I just want.
Yeah, there's basically one person, but it's kind of like someone close that we used to test the product. But yeah, generally we feel that we did some interviews, and we feel that bigger agencies tend to have more advantages here because they have more clients and more employees, and things get messy. So they would need a, yeah.
Interesting. And then once you have, so you're targeting bigger agencies, and then the next question is who within the agency would find this problem the biggest, like to turn clients into evangelists, or to have the problem of making sure that they're retaining their customers, whether that's the director of ops, is it the owner? It could be the owner. So now you're not just focusing on what I mentioned earlier, ideal company profile. You're focusing on your ideal customer or user profile, so that you can really double down on that and find that right person in that market to find that fit with your product.
Right. Awesome, thanks.
Thanks for bringing this, Virgil. Hadi, I saw you. Probably you have something to follow up. Then Ciprian, and there's a last shout to bring on your question as we are getting close to the end of this. Please, Hadi.
Yeah, I will make it quick.
Not to rush you, just to.
That's okay. Just regarding the free plan that I actually mentioned at the beginning, we're also testing some kind of showing logo. You mentioned HubSpot. They had the kind of same strategy to create some kind of viral loop. So what is your thought on that? Like, because we haven't tested yet, and we're kind of putting a lot of energy to make an A/B test for some of the prospects who see what is the reaction if they want to show it as a free plan or even pro plan. So if you want to have it like removed, you have to buy the business plan, which is like a €200 more. So what's your thought on that? And you think that does it work in this way in 2021? Still, we can use this viral loop or like same strategy?
Yeah, I do believe that, and it's more so like if you upgrade, you're not gonna see your logo on the email. Is that what I'm hearing? Is that?
Yeah, we have like a player, like a video player, interactive video player, and on the very corner we will have like created in contest there. And so if you click on it, you come to our website, right, although they are using the full process. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I see that tactic work time and time again, especially as the ones who would care to remove that branding is probably like larger customers or people who have the ability to pay to remove that. So like they're removing the branding can really work well to upgrade to the paid plan.
Right.
And yeah.
Good to hear that. Thanks.
Thanks, Hadi, for coming back. Ciprian, back to you, and bring on your questions. We're getting close.
Yeah, sure. Hi. Thank you. Hi, Rami. My name is Ciprian. I'm a co-founder of SenseTask. It's a cloud-based platform that uses AI to classify and extract data from documents, right? So basically, we're using machine learning to extract key data from pre-trained machine learning models, right? Now, we're marketing as a horizontal solution right now. So basically, you could apply it to multiple verticals. We have clients and potential clients from healthcare, from financial services, all kinds of verticals. Also, we're taking the approach of SaaS as a cloud-based platform where you can log in and the APIs, right? So you could take our APIs and integrate them into an ERP or other software. Now, I keep hearing from investors mostly that we're trying to do too much and we should focus sort of on one niche, on one vertical. And I would really want to take your feedback on that, because there have been plenty of success stories. There are horizontal solutions like RPA, UiPath, for example, right? They market, it's a horizontal solution. So, but I just as a feedback from you, what do you think?
Yeah, I probably would lean into that advice as well. I think especially early on. I think I was listening to this podcast earlier on, whether that's MailChimp or like very early on, the way that they marketed MailChimp was they were very, very focused on marketing agencies. And now MailChimp is like, it could be used by anybody, right? So I think early on, that focus would help with the resources. It's just more so picking which specific niche to focus on, and then using that as a jumping off point to other ones. I'm sure you have a better insight or data or in understanding exactly where you want to focus on first, and then going out bit by bit over to other verticals would be super, super helpful.
Yeah, we found a use case that is extremely, there's a lot of demand on the market, that's invoices, right? Invoice processing. But as for vertical, you could have invoices in any vertical. Yeah, I would, I appreciate the feedback.
No problem.
Let's see who is left with their question or with any reaction, any feedback whatsoever after this session, and we can use a couple moments before we switch to the interview part, where actually I've also picked some of the topics already debated. That's very useful to have them also being worked in a public material, but also leaving you to share any feedback, any thoughts for the next 4 minutes. Robert, I am seeing you. Just you can also say what you enjoyed about the session and what didn't. What are the questions that you're still left with, just to make sure how we address them in the next sessions as well. Robert, feel free to jump in.
Oh yeah, sorry if I'm too late. I just had a final question.
Yeah.
I can leave it off. But anyway, say we have a process where we can only offer demos at the moment. We can't do trials, right? We plan to do them, blah, blah, blah. How would you keep somebody engaged and onboarded after a successful demo and the first impression? Say that, everybody loves the software, it's easy to use, etc., etc. After the demo, the video call, right? And how do you keep them engaged? What would you do in terms of onboarding them, right? If let's say emails by themselves, like, putting them on an automated workflow and giving them access to, let's say, a version of the product is not enough. What else would you do? Thank you.
Yeah, for sure. Can I ask a few questions around that? Like you're doing a demo. Do they already have access to their product by then? Like they're already like...
Don't. We qualify, let's say in this workflow, we qualify them. And after that, we choose like, okay, they're okay to give access to, right? And after that, we try to keep them engaged as much as possible, right?
Right. So then, so after the demo, you give them access, and that's when they start like the self-serve onboarding. Exactly.
Yeah. And there may be like a sharp drop off, right? And we want to keep that engaged or build that slowly back up, right, in terms of engagement.
Where are they dropping off? Like, do you recall, like, are they not signing up for the product? Or is there a gap, like when after the demo, go sign up now? Or is it more so they're already in the product, they're getting stuck somewhere and they need help?
Yeah, exactly. I already took the pointer that we should kind of ask ourselves or ask them, hey, where are you stuck? So I already like wrote down a couple of ideas how to do that.
Right.
In terms of communicating a little bit straightly, but I thought like, you know, to answer your question, early on in the usage of the product, you know,
Right.
let's say even if it's not the case, let's play through that scenario.
Yeah, I mean, what I especially early on, what I actually get people to do is give them like access right there, and then watch them sign up. like just like this is like the classic onboarding onboarding test would be like, watch them. Don't I say I'm just gonna be a fly on the wall. Go ahead, sign up for it. Let me know if you need help and get stuck. So now you're like getting real-time feedback where they're getting stuck within the app, because like they're like, oh, Robert, I'm stuck. I don't know where to click here. I don't know where to go. And then now you have to direct them into the next step. So now you know, like, okay, there's some design issues or user experience issues at this point in the journey. And then how do we solve that? Is it a product or is it some kind of like a pointer or some other thing that can really help get them going? So get them to the point of success, time how long it takes them, and then do it again. Once you make the improvement, like once you do a demo, ask them to sign up straight up and see and observe how long it takes them to get there.
Yeah, thank you. That is a great answer. You know, we'll try to see and talk with Natalia on how to apply that. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Robert, for jumping back. Hadi, you wanted to say something? I'm having a hard time reading the chat right now.
I was just going to say that maybe it's not very connected, that many of the guys, they had a problem with intro to different type of signed up customers, like in an automated way, because we have a many-to-many video technology. It's very easy to guide them through the experience. You choose this package, you show another video, and then they choose another preference, you show another video. So it's very easy to guide them and give a tutorial. Although we are focused on e-commerce, I will be happy to help you guys if you want to test it out on your platforms.
Cool. Thanks for the collaboration spirit. Keep it rolling. And feel free to jump in with any feedback for Ramli as we're saying goodbye in a few minutes. And I've put together some of the questions already discussed just to make a recap, but some other questions that we had and didn't get to address him for the next 5 minutes or so, just to take a quick interview. Feel free to stay. I'm gonna be putting Ramli on the spotlight so I can capture the screen afterwards in editing with the team. But until then, just feel free to share anything as a final thought to him and for the session.
I just wanted to say thanks. If there's any way, you know, we can show our appreciation, feel free to plug anything like your book, or I'd like to learn more.
Awesome. Thank you. Yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah, I mean, if people want to check out the book, it's at onboardingbook.com and get the first chapter for free. Just check it out. So
yeah, I'm leaving the links on the Slack channel for all of you guys. Thanks, Hadi. I'm moving into the interview part. Feel free to jump in the chat or in here, just turning on your mics to say anything to Ramli as we say goodbye. Before we do that, if there's something that you want to share, Ramli, also as your final thoughts, final ideas for the group, please do, and then we'll switch for a couple of moments to the interview.
No, that's it. Thank you so much for everybody, and to the How to Web team for the invite. I really do appreciate it.
Thanks as well for making the time for this. We thank also Wesh for the intro, and hope to see you soon somewhere in the next years in the How to Web conference. Let's go back to this state, as I was telling you, with the spotlight with you. Just gonna be asking you a couple questions, just to help us also recap and sum up what just happened in this session, but also some that didn't get to be addressed. So, Ramli, what actually makes product-led growth so valuable?
Yeah, I think it's super valuable because it's exactly how a lot of people buy software or buy any type of product these days. Like, think about how you buy shoes. You want to try it before you buy it, and it's about the risking that the buying process for the consumer is super important. As well as we're finding higher retention and higher conversion for people who are using this approach versus a traditional outbound sales-led approach.
And how is this a product-led approach intertwined with the sales-led approach? Because they're not mutually exclusive, right?
For sure. I mean, in terms of, you're totally right there. It's not mutually exclusive. We find like there's a lot of synergy between product-led and sales-led. I mentioned earlier that a hybrid approach is actually the best kind of approach that you want to take, where you have some users who want to talk to sales and you have some users who don't want to talk to sales at all, and catering to users or people where they're at and what they need is super important to try to get more people to experience the value of product and actually purchase it. One of the things I talked about earlier is around this land and expand strategy, where when somebody lands, they expand. That's one approach that sales-led really does shine, where now you're helping users sell up to decision makers, as well as getting them going within the product as well.
And in actually measuring how successful are you with this, are there any product-led metrics a product team should actually look up to as they are implementing the product-led approach?
Some of them, yeah, for sure. I mean, in terms of the metrics, you want to really be looking at the whole customer journey and trying to figure out the percentage of people who are achieving success within your product, whether that's people call it the aha moment, how many people are getting there in the percentage, as well as breaking down each step in that journey and seeing where is the biggest drop off and really mapping that out. I also want to look at something called the time to value. How long does it take for somebody to get to that point where they achieve success with your product? Is it a few minutes? Is it a few days? Is it a few weeks? And it really depends, like what is a good time to value really depends on your product and your segment. So it could range from a few minutes to a few hours or a few days, and none of them is a bad thing as long as people are sticking around in the long term. And the third thing you want to be looking at definitely is retention rates. Like retention and stickiness is a very critical point for product-led companies.
The next one has actually two questions, but I will pick the one that goes closer to the pain. And are there any lessons you can share about good and bad implementation of product-led growth approach in teams, in small teams, if it's possible, if you have the examples at hand, but in general, if not.
Really good implementation of product-led really requires the cross-functional team. And I see time and time again, like in implementation of HubSpot, at other places that I've talked to, and seeing the companies that we work with, it can't just be the product team. Like people think product-led growth is product management team like centric, where really it's a cross-functional, where sales, customer success, the operations, the finance even really need to have a different kind of mindset on how you can make your users successful from early on, instead of like just trying to get people to close the deal and right from the beginning.
And how is all this product-led actually works inside of a team when balancing the functions of product and marketing driven at some point even departments, but even at the beginning there are the founding team has these expertise that's very segregated, very breaking down, and how do they actually come to the same side of the table?
One of the best ways to unite a team around product led or a strategy is having shared metrics, a shared metric goal across the board. And that could be like a weekly active user, or how many people are achieving success within the product. How many percentage of our users are actually converting based on after they've experienced the product. Finding that one metric to get everybody and rally together around is super, super critical. And it really depends on your company, which metric that is, as long as it's related to user success. Another one is around making sure that people are attending each other's meetings. Like you have product people who are attending your marketing team meetings as well as the sales team meetings, and making sure that people are up to date and sharing those wins and those lessons across different departments.
Yeah, thanks a lot. That clarifies most of the problems that are happening inside teams, the battles that are actually ongoing. And are there any growth related tactics and methodologies and frameworks that you see trending for the upcoming years? Definitely product-led being one of them, but around this and in this space of new approaches, different approaches, is there anything else that you want to add on the table for us to be on the lookout for them?
Yeah, and another one that people are talking a lot about in the last few months, actually the last year, is around community-led growth. I like how you can leverage and build a community and really drive them towards the product-led growth as well. I think they really go hand in hand. If you can somehow build a community around your problem that you're trying to solve, could be super, super valuable. The challenge is it takes a lot of effort to build a successful community. Like you can't just build a Slack and it works. You need to be there, present, responding to questions, hosting events like what you guys are doing here. Is super critical. But if you do figure that out, it can really be a great source of not just insights as to what other problems people are facing, but as well as potential acquisition channel for people to refer other people inside of your the community towards your product.
Spot on. Thanks a lot, Ramli. If you want to share anything else other than what you've just said, feel free to name it before we say again thanks and see you soon. So please do.
Oh, that's it. If people want to know more, you can check out ProductLed.com. We have like free resources, events, and free courses to really educate people around product-led growth. And people can find that all the information they need there.
And thanks for bringing part of it today here. Thanks for taking the time to spend it with us. Thanks all for jumping in the session. Hope it was useful and it answers to some of your concerns. And thanks all for kicking off the series of Q&As within Spotlight. Hope to see you soon. Thanks a bunch, Ramli. That was an awesome evening that we had the chance to spend with you. Thank you, and see you soon.
Thank you. All right, talk to you guys.
Cheers. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. See you tomorrow. That's a founder's joke.
See you.
Bye. Yep. Bye.